Hello, everybody. This is Darren Redmond for Redmond's Wrap Up, brought to you by FHT Sports. It is November 13th. You know what that means. If you are a TV nerd like I am, a TV historian, somebody whose face, big old Pez head, was in front of that TV growing up, or at a movie, you know what November 13th is. That's the day that Felix Unger was asked to remove himself from his place of residence. That request came from his wife. If you watch The Odd Couple, you know that through the years that the show was on, very, very popular, not as popular as it was actually in reruns, that the introduction of Felix and Oscar changed over the course of the years. Also, wonderful play written by Neil Simon. Anyway, want to talk about Fresno State football and game theory. Many of you know aspects of game theory. Serge, the hockey guru, who is an amazing poker player, talks about how game theory is used in poker all the time. Or you might have read the wonderful movie, or seen the beautiful Mind movie, or read the book, I've done both, about John Nash, who was unfortunately killed not too long ago while actually walking, I believe, to the college that he was still doing some work at. Anyway, game theory. There's really two types of game theory, and both of them fit very nicely into what's going on with Fresno State football. There is finite game theory, which means that all the players agree upon the rules and there is a conclusion. And there's also infinite game theory. That means that the game itself is the end game, meaning that you perpetuate that game. There is no winner. That the game itself is what continues. And you can look very nicely, especially coming off the loss of Boise State, how these two things can sometimes get conflicted. But I truly believe that people can read, absorb, chew gum, and walk at the same time. When you look at a season is finite game theory. What are we trying to get out of this? And when Fresno State Bulldogs went into the season, it was win the conference, win the Mountain West Championship. Losing to Minnesota, losing to Boise State does nothing in terms of impeding that path, other than not having a home game for the championship game, as long as they take care of business on Saturday night, and the hope is that you'll be there. Infinite game theory took a bit of a hit, but not a hit that can't be overcome. Infinite means that you want to build the program long term, and you want to build a program that will sustain itself. Get out of that, as Christopher Gabriel puts it so succinctly, that malaise of being a mid-major. So if the plan is to move to a powerhouse, and Fresno State's a lot closer than you think, you don't want to play Fresno State now or within the next couple of years, because you might lose. So if you're looking at it from a athletic department, long-term Fresno State football program, that is infinite game theory. So what happens is when there's a clash between the two, if you have one person playing finite and one person playing infinite, game theory doesn't work. But because we can walk and chew gum at the same time, two parallels, we can actually play both games at the same time by people from Fresno State, loyal to Fresno State, support Fresno State, if you have that understanding. The goal of winning the conference championship is still there. We all agree that there might have been some offsides at Boise State because that stadium was full. They wanted to win the game. That's finite game theory. That's what we need this Saturday and for the conference championship in terms of supporting Fresno State, even though the conference championship will be in Utah or in Idaho. Infinite game theory, in terms of building this program long term, didn't take a hit either because we're close. Fresno State is close. If you think about long term and building this program, the only thing that happened negatively on Friday night was we can't put a notch of that win in our belt and say, we beat Boise, one of the few teams at Boise, well, Boise's at home, and on and on and on. But if you are playing this game long term, it really doesn't mean much. If you're looking at going to a major bowl, which is finite, I hope this makes sense, then it took a hit. So you can do both at the same time. So as long as your strategy in terms of NCAA, which has been around a lot longer than I have and will be here, God willing, a lot long after I'm gone, and may I live another 300-400 years until God calls me home. So if you look at this thing through game theory, it makes a lot more sense. So what is the short-term, or somebody who doesn't look at it through game theory, short-term, long-term goals? You need to remind yourself of both. You could be disappointed short-term, but it doesn't put a dent in the infinite game plan theory, and hopefully we'll reap those benefits down the road with game theory, infinite style. Finite, let's win on Saturday. Let's try to fill that place up. I hope that makes sense. And if you have any questions, always like or subscribe. This is Darren Redmond at FHT Sports, where we actually treat you, the fan, the sports connoisseur, with intelligence and with grace. So like, subscribe, share. If you have some thoughts on game theory or you have your own angle on it, please feel free to share. This is not an echo chamber. You don't need to agree. If you want to call people names, stupid, this or that, that's fine, because I actually believe in the First Amendment, but you will not get a response. If you want to talk, well, here's what I see and everything, as iron sharpens iron, let's make each other sharper. So if you look at sports through game theory, anything in life through game theory, running your business, your family life, anything else, and you see who are the players and what are the outcomes they're looking to achieve. Is it finite? Is it infinite? Everything starts making a lot more sense. So this is Darren Redmond for Redmond's Wrap Up. Let's make sure that Bulldog Stadium is full this weekend. Let's make sure Selland Arena is full this weekend for the Fresno Monsters as they play the Valencia Flyers. Darren Redmond at FHT Sports. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, share, and God bless.